Hi, everybody. How are you all doing? Are you managing those energies of that full moon in Aquarius that we've just had? And we're just at the end of it, so it's probably still being experienced and felt by so many of us. Well, today I wanted to jump on and talk about, as I've entitled it, They and Multidimensionality. And that's really not an easy word, so I don't know how many times I'll be able to say that word correctly. But this all stemmed from the other day when I heard somebody saying how they struggled with the concept of they. Um, and they meant it in terms of like gender, so where we say she, he, and they. And as I said, they were struggling with that idea and they felt much more comfortable. It was much more within their paradigm to talk about she and he and not they. And as I said, that really struck me and it got me thinking and it got me down a big pathway of thinking as well. And my thoughts were, well, actually, because I see myself as a multidimensional being, I don't struggle with this idea of they, as we are all multi-layered beings. And so, as I said, it started me down this journey of looking at multidimensionality. And I wanted to start by looking at a definition. So I'm just going to have a look at what I've written up here, what I've took. So it talks about human existence and the universe not being limited to the physical third dimensional world, but rather than humans and the universe operating within many layers. And then when I looked at it more, it talked about three layers. So the first layer is what they call the subtle energy bodies, and these operate simultaneously alongside the physical body. The second one was nested planes of consciousness, and this is beyond the physical senses. And then the third one was an eternal soul aspect, which connects to a larger universal source. Now, I know in transference healing, which is the energy healing modality that I work with, we talk about the four planes of transformation. So the first one is that you have the physical plane, and that is our etheric physical body. It's made up of our physical anatomy and the etheric system, which is your chakras, your meridians, etc. Then you have the emotional plane, which is the emotional body, and the vibrational plane. And this is made up of your emotions, your subconscious, and even your soul self. And then we have the mental plane, which is our mental body, and the metaphysical plane as well. And this is the area of our psyche, our consciousness, and higher awareness. And then we have the spiritual plane, which is the electromagnetic field, the light body, and the Christ body. And this is your light body and your Merkaba. Now, you know, there's that saying that we are human beings having a spiritual experience. Well, for years I've been doing the deeper work, and for me, I've kind of look at that differently. I've turned that around. So for me, it's not being a human being having a spiritual experience, but actually a spiritual being having a human experience. Is that something that you can relate to? Do you see it that way too? If you do, if you've got any comments, just drop them in the box below. It would be lovely to hear from you. So, as I said, from doing all those years of that deeper inner work, and as well as looking at us being spiritual beings having a human experience, that already made vast differences to how I related to things. I found that I was really letting go of old limiting beliefs and constructs. And then when I started looking at multidimensionality, that really did take things to a whole different level, pardon the pun, but literally in more ways than one. Now, I'm still on that journey of learning about multidimensionality, but the changes that it's made in my life has been really positive, by seeing myself and others as well, and the universe as multidimensional. I found that I don't feel so shackled and limited by this world anymore. Believing that you can only be a certain way, or you can only achieve really limited things. I see that we're not confined and limited in who we can be and what we can achieve. I really feel that, I have so much more choices and that I'm free to choose as well. You start beginning to see, things, your life with much more clarity, and you start to really create a life that is much more aligned to your higher self. So for me, this is where I really feel that I am in the magic. And I'm having a lot of fun with it as well. It doesn't have to be dull and boring, but I'm finding myself, journeying into the elemental realms, accessing my Akashic records, and even tapping into light language. And when I stop to think about it, it really does blow my mind. So I continue to look forward to playing with these and to sharing more thoughts with you over time. But I'd love to hear from you. What has been your experiences? It would be great if you could drop those in the comments below, because it'd be really nice to have a conversation with you rather than just talking at myself. So yeah, it'd be really lovely to hear from you. And if you've got any other comments or even questions, please feel free to drop them in the comment boxes below. And even hearts and likes would be really appreciated as well. Well, thank you everybody for taking the time to listen to me, and I look forward to connecting with you soon again. Until then, bye for now.